another live. Oh, I think I'm echoing again. Don't know if that... Good. Good enough for now. Audio technology. Anyway, welcome everybody to another live. I know it's a little later than usual, so I appreciate you guys all being here. Living in Radiance is here, my mom. So hi, Mom. So as we wait for everybody to come in, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what's coming up, and then I'm going to introduce my beautiful guest. So our next show is in 2 weeks' time, which I believe is July 6th. Like and subscribe and click the bell, and then you won't miss it either way. But it's going to actually be on a Sunday instead of my normal Monday for the month of July, because the way our holidays fall this year. But the next show is going to be my review on my Sedona retreat. So those of you who've been following along know I went to Sedona last weekend, not this like past one, but the one before that. And I'm going to go basically start to finish what all happened, because some craziness went down. And you guys can come and tune in and hear all about that. And then the other shows that I have coming up, I'm going to be going through all my decks. I just inherited a bunch of new decks from a friend, so we're going to go through those. And then I've now just scheduled the shows for August. So we're going to be doing a show on light language, which is super exciting. And then also doing another show where I'm going to be coloring in the True Sight Oracle. So I don't know if you guys remember the last video, but I'm working on coloring in this tarot deck, making it my own. So we're going to do a part 2 of that. So without further ado, I will introduce Moneca, or let Moneca introduce herself, actually. So you may remember her from the last video we did, I think January or something like that of last year. Like, it's been a while, but anyway, I'll let her explain herself, what she does, and then we'll go from there. So Moneca, take it away.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? We must test the technology first.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
So my name is Moneca Melnick. I'm the owner and creator and artist behind fairyorbs.ca. So I make hand-blown glass pendants that move inside, and they have treasures in them. You can customize them by putting names and dates, and and I make all sorts of different kinds. And I am also a Reiki master, an NLP practitioner. I do quite a lot of metaphysical things. I infuse all my work with love and positive intention. And I believe that intention is super important when you're creating and making, like in my mind, jewelry. So, and I view jewelry as something like energetic armor. So when a knight goes to battle, he takes his sword. So when we go to battle in everyday life, we take our jewelry, and this is how I kind of see it, right? So I use them as little talismans, and they kind of look like this.
Look, they're so pretty.
There's a little fairy inside. I don't know if you can see. That's kind of tough to see. But they all kind of move inside, and you can take a mindful moment anytime you. And so that's the whole concept behind it, is, for people that kind of have a hard time maybe meditating, or that kind of need to step away and just have like a mindful, peaceful moment. I think I actually took them myself to Sedona when I went to Sedona.
Yeah, so I was telling Moneca backstage. Well, actually, I was sending her pictures while I was on my trip. But I actually wore my fairy orb that she made, that we made together, on my trip. On my trip down, I wore it for good luck on the plane flight so that everything would match up. But I love that you've mentioned it being kind of almost like a spiritual armor. So the one that I have, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but this one you actually made so that I can wear it when I'm doing my Reiki sessions. So you can actually see it fairly well there. But you made a little chakra.
I remember that one. Now that I'm looking at it, I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys can kind of see it. And there is little floaty things in here. I don't know how well it'll show up on the camera. It's shifting around there a little bit. You can see it's moving.
So
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I can see blue goldstone in there. There's quartz in there. I can see, yeah, for sure. And oh, that seashell, the conch shell, that's a beautiful one.
Yes.
It signifies the Fibonacci sequence, and that's that also symbolizes how everything is interconnected. So no wonder you're experiencing synchronicities. Yep.
And then the other little special thing you did for me was you made little earrings to go with it.
I love those. Those are my favorites. So I'm wearing something different today. I'm wearing little danglies. So little danglies. But I love the studs because the studs are fun when you just kind of you put them in and you're like sitting in a meeting or something. You just turn them and you just leave it, and then all of a sudden all this treasure like is falling and people are like looking at you and they're, you know,
Love it.
I like the attention. It's fun, right?
So Lauren's popped in. Hi, Lauren. And Viviani's popped in. Hello, Viviani. Thanks for being here. So we've been, I guess, friends for almost a year now. But one of the things that you are currently doing, so for anybody interested right now, you're basically, I guess, restructuring or thinking the way you're doing Fairy Orbs, because at one point you were doing the Fairy Orbs, doing some of them kind of the intuitive route, but then some of them you were just making them. And I think you mentioned maybe something about like it not sitting right, or just something, there's something about it. And so maybe just tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, it was. So I've been doing Fairy Orbs since 2019, and it's been definitely a journey. And at one point I had truly, I made the Fairy Orbs for myself. I made them for my team of girls that I was training at the time in the automotive industry. I've kind of made them like as a memento. Mm-hmm. And I wanted them to have just a keepsake to have and to kind of remember me by. So I wanted to write their name on rice. And so I ended up writing their name on rice. And there was, I'll never forget, Mackenzie, and has so many letters in it. And I got each and every single letter on that piece of rice. I was so proud. I was so proud. And then so it evolved from that. And then I thought to myself, well, I kind of want to implement kind of holographic elements, kind of like the same elements that a diamond would have, the same rainbow, the same chakra system, the same type of vibrance that a diamond would have. But I wanted to make it, affordable, like not, let's, something that anyone could have, that they could hold and have it be close to their heart. Right. So, I actually purchased the glass hand blown already. So I don't actually hand blow the glass, but I fill the contents. I suspend the contents actually in the center, and I fill it and I arrange everything inside to make it like kind of your own special universe. And I'm looking over because these are all the ones that I've made here. So I used to make quite a lot of custom orders, and the custom orders got extremely specific to the point where I absolutely don't mind, making them like to the T, like exactly what you want, right? But the thing is, it was difficult to balance that with a full-time job, and also being a full-time mom, and just and we were also moving at the time, and there was quite a lot going on. So I had to finish the custom orders. I mean, especially after Christmas, I kind of put everything on hold, and I wanted to do selfishly what makes me happy. Like I wanted to create what I wanted to create, and I wanted to see if that would resonate with people. And I found that odd things would happen. So I would create one fairy orb with like a little leprechaun in it or something. And let's say it wasn't St. Patrick's Day. Let's say this was like December or something, right? And then I would just create it because I just felt the need to make it. And then all of a sudden I would see some sort of a correlate, like somebody would mention something about the Irish or something. It would kind of correlate. I would list it and it would sell. I would list it as a pre-made fairy orb. And then I thought to myself, well, maybe there's more, maybe more people would be willing to buy them, even if I made them kind of for myself, but maybe there's other people like me, right? So in this specific collection here, these are all kind of fairy orbs that all have stories with them. So everything from like the summer fairy orb that has like a floating palm tree in the center with real turquoise in it, and turquoise is a super powerful stone, and just little and little, like a mountain and a sunset, for example. It's got little tiny crystals in it, a starfish, little gold bubbles. I made this one feeling of summer, right? So there's like a story with each and every one of them, and the restructuring that I'm doing is I'm going to list on the website these as available, and the custom orders will be seasonal almost. So because I typically tend to be the most busiest during Christmas and my birthday, which is June.
Of course.
During my birthday, my love language is giving. So like for my birthday, instead of people giving me gifts, I always do deals on my fairy orbs or give away a free charm or a free bracelet or something like this, or a free set of earrings with them. I'm always about that. This year has been a little bit tough. So I've had a bit of an injury.
Yeah.
I had a bit of for those of you that don't know. I mean, nobody, your audience doesn't know, but I'll tell you guys. Apart from fairy orbs, I also practice Taekwondo, and I've been working super hard for the last 2 years practicing Taekwondo, and I was testing for my first degree black belt in May. And during the last 10 seconds of my exam, I did a jumping front snap kick, and I landed poorly on my left knee, and I snap. I tore all my ligaments in my knee, so I have more ACL. My MCL is 80% torn, and my meniscus is damaged. So good news out of all of this is that you won't believe the synchronicities, because the surgeon I have is like the best. I have, like, Kaylee, I have strangers coming up to me, like people that I don't even know at the clinic, and they're like, "Who's your surgeon?" And I'm like, "Dr. So-and-so." And they're like, "Oh, best.
No worries.
We'll find a better doctor." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, okay." And I was thinking to myself, okay, universe. I said, "Dear universe," I said, if I have friends in Saskatchewan, I have a sister in Spain, I have friends in Arizona, I can go where the wind takes me. It is my knee. And I am open-minded. And I'm not saying this doctor's, I've never met this surgeon. I'm sure he's amazing, right? I said, universe, if there is something else out there, please put it in my path, right? Because I'm open to it. Well, then the next day I go, to Taekwondo, and I hobble in there because I wanted to see some humans, right?
Yeah.
So I hobble in there, and a lady that like I don't remember well. She's one of the moms, right? Like I don't really know her name, but like I've seen her. Like it's all like, "Hi, how are you?" Right? She comes and she's like, "How you feeling?" And I'm like, "Oh, same as usual. Like I need surgery. Like I'm not gonna get any better, unfortunately, right?" And she goes, "Who's your surgeon?" And I'm like, "Dr. So-and-so." She's like, "Oh, the best. He did mine." I'm walking, and I'm like, "Oh God," So I'm like, okay. Universe, you have spoken. Thank you very much. I can take a hint. This doctor is the best of the best. And
awesome.
Yeah, and he's done he's actually worked on, I don't mean to gloat or anything, athletes. I don't know if that means athlete, but like the Stampeders and the Calgary Flames. Like the big people.
You say the best of the best, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm super excited. I get to meet him in, not that I'm counting or anything, 15 days.
I'm sure you have lots of people that will send you lots of energy healing afterwards. So
lots of people. So I've been super grateful for a lot of people have been super understanding. So
there's a couple comments here I thought I'd pop up. So Viviani, this is when you were talking about like restructuring the business, and she's like, "That's not selfish, it's self-love and self-care." So
thank you. It feels selfish sometimes, right? But thank you.
It's not.
Recognize that actually, yeah.
What is it they say? Like if the right people can stay with you, the right people will find you. And
that actually, it's interesting that you say that, because I was thinking, actually, hold on if I can find it, if I have it. I had this, my son made me, if I can find it. Oh, I can. Look at this. So we went to the store and my son's like, buy this card. It says deep replenishment, rest, retreat,
Love that.
held, right? So that's definitely what
Mm-hmm.
love. So, and I was thinking a lot about friendships, right? Like true friendship is two people, I guess, bonding without expectation, right? Like there are some friends that you don't have to speak to all the time, and they just understand that we can just, but there are friends that like kind of like expect you to follow up with them like a client.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, like it's very hard. And I feel like I've lost a lot of friends, but like you said, like the right people,
The right
maybe.
ones will stick with you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is it? The right, like, friends will stick on you like an octopus will on your face, something like that. There's some say.
Beautiful image. Yeah.
Oh, and then Living in Radiance was saying there that your jewelry is being inspired by the universe. You're being led to make them for someone, and I think that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you guys have questions for Moneca at all, feel free to post them in the comments, and we will ask away. So yeah, if you're wondering, any questions about her jewelry, about herself, as you said, you're a Reiki master.
Yeah, I completed my Reiki and I completed my NLP. So after I completed my Reiki, I took a different turn. So I didn't end up practicing on humans.
Right.
I ended up practicing on my work and myself. And
Right.
so this is actually something that I was toying with, and an idea that I was toying with is what would happen if I did it on a human? Well, you do it on humans, right? But for me, it was never like I never connected that. I guess I took the Reiki course and I wanted to take Reiki, I guess, to learn more about it and to see if that would kind of speak to me to do it on other humans. But like I said, every healing modalities, they come in different shapes and forms.
They do.
And I, for example, had reflexology done today on my feet.
Ooh.
A lot of people think that reflexology is a foot massage. Let me tell you, it's not. No, that it can be sensitive and it can hurt. Like it's like little tiny.
It has pressure points and stuff, right? Yeah.
Right. So, I guess healing modalities come in different ways, and I felt that making physical talismans and like I'm not scared to tell people that I put positive intention in it, and I feel, but sometimes I've had not negative, but like I've had people refuse to accept a fairy orb from me because they think it's voodoo magic. It's voodoo magic and it's against their religion. And I'm like, what religion? And they're like Roman Catholic. And I'm like, but I was baptized Roman Catholic, but like, let's be real.
You're taking it to the extreme. I mean, it's only good. Only good goes into these things, guys. You can feel it.
So to clarify, it's not like I sit there. It's not like
saying incantations over your cauldron. Yeah.
Not that I don't have one, because yes, ma'am, I do. But it's for soup. I mean, stop. If you sit there and you're going to tell me that you put meat and vegetables into water and you put spices in it and cook, and you don't call that a stew, I don't know what you. I don't know. It's so when I make my fairy orbs, it's not that I sit there hocus pocus.
Yeah.
It's not. It's actually been scientifically talked about in literature, and it's in the observer effect in quantum physics. So my brain, when I actually make these and I get into the zone. So this is why it's also been, Kaylee, actually difficult for me to make them online, live, because it's very different. Oh, thank you. Look at my ADD. Just like, I love these comments, but it's very difficult for me to make them because online, live on camera, because the focus, right? So when I'm in there, I'm focused, and I'm in there and I'm creating and I'm thinking and I'm intending. And if you were to measure my brainwaves, I'm in theta.
You're meditating, you're channeling. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it kind of dawned on me, right? And so if I were to make them for the audience, it would be more like I would be like, showing like and then it would just not look presentable,
right.
So this is my biggest hesitation. And I feel like I'm okay to stand my ground and be like, no, I won't make them laugh. Not to like disappoint me. No, because the theta has to be there. The theta brainwaves have to be there in the piece. Otherwise, and I will tell you something. I'll be honest, because there are times where I don't know, I'm attending a meeting, or I'm doing something, and I'm double doing, right? And I'm making a fairy, but like my I'm not there. Right? I'm somewhere else, and I'm making it, and I really want to be there. But I can't connect. Right? And I can't connect. And I'm like trying, and I'm doing everything. And I've actually ran into this in my recent piece. Totally fine. You'll look at it and you'll be like, nice, really nice,
but
right?
There's something missing.
It's like the difference between dead and alive for me.
Right.
Of course, it doesn't have the alive to it, and like the most difficult thing to explain. People are like,
some people are like, it's jewelry. Crazy.
But truly, if you have like a picture of, let's say, like a loved one, right? Like, I actually made this one recently because it's got my son in there.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, you can see. Well,
yeah.
I'm just trying to get.
There you go. Yeah, you can see the face right there. Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah. So whenever I flip it upside down and I see like the contents moving next to the picture of my son, it feels like it's animated, right? And or next to like the picture of me or whatever, it feels like it's animated. So a lot of people have found extreme comfort, especially when making memorial fairy orbs, because then they see a picture of their loved one next to moving objects. And I mean, also, if you just want, like, it's also like a nice keepsake, like as a mom, right?
Like, yeah. Well, yeah.
Baby, always close to me, because I'm a helicopter mommy, because that's how it goes, right? But like, I've also thought about like putting him in a bear.
And I love these where you've kind of taken it and then like made different little shapes or animals. Like, I think you've done kind of the angel ones, or little like snowman ones, or the bears, or I mean, you can technically make a certain mouse that's copyrighted,
That's the thing with fairy orbs. I mean, that's with the custom orders. That's what's. I mean, you make whatever you want. Sometimes the ideas, but I mean, I'm going to be posting these 24 that are available here for sale. So on my website soon.
And there is different sizes, as you could see there. There was different sizes of the orbs. Like, there's larger ones, smaller ones, depending on what you want. And then I remember too, like, for example, like you were saying, like making so there's the difference in sizes, guys, like, or an example of some of the size differences. So I think mine's one of the on the larger end, so you can see it. So, but when I wear it, it actually shows up rather nicely.
Yeah, I used to think that the bigger ones were not so nice when they were on a chain, but I like it.
But I mean, this also tells you how much thought she puts into it. So the chain she gave me has these little balls on it, and it was so I could wear it long or short depending on what I'm doing with it. Because that was part of when we had our little kind of conversation before you made it, I said, this is what my hope is for it. This is a little bit about me. And you just took that and then ran with it. And I agree with you where you're saying like it's hard to do it live because we talked, but then there was probably like a span of like 5 minutes or more where you were just like, yeah, there's nothing. There was like no conversation, nothing. Like,
right? It's just like blah, blah, blah. Like,
but
breathing, like, I don't know, it could be, yeah, totally.
But it's that thing of like as you said, you couldn't do it like YouTube Live because people would be like, why aren't you talking? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing it? But doing it, the intuitive bit where you could book it almost like a reading where, as you said, like depending on the time you have, you could book slots for those special, ones that you could then have that conversation with those people, get their vibe, because I think that was part of it too. When you were making it for me, it was like the vibes that we were, exchanging.
Yeah.
You would then have the time and the space to do that.
Take in the feedback first. That's what I feel. That's what I feel like is easiest. It makes me less stressed, I guess, is if I can speak to someone. I truly, like, as we're talking, then I get like these images. It goes boom, boom, and then I start making it. Sometimes I can't make it all the way.
Yeah,
and that's the issue. Yeah. So it's like try to explain that to someone.
Lauren was just saying they seem like they would be good to use as a pendulum.
They do. Oh, they are. I actually make them as pendulums for my.
I've never tried that. I should try that with mine.
Pendulum ones would be something like you would hang.
Yes. Yeah.
So you would hang a crystal off of that.
Right, to have the weight, right? Yeah.
But like a quartz, but like pointed. And if you double pointed, it would be the best. And then double pointed, right? And then you could use that as a pendulum for sure.
Because actually for their size, they're actually not all that heavy. So on their own, I don't know how well they would work as a pendulum. I mean, that's spinning in a circle right now. So,
What's the crystal? Yeah, I've never actually known. I've actually never personally been able to work with round pendulums. I've worked with
I don't know if you guys can see that happening right now. It tells you how much energy is held in this necklace right now. I'm just holding it and it's doing that on its own.
I love it. Crystal. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you can see one of the little stars there.
And they glow in the dark.
Ooh, I've never worn it at night or anything, so I've never noticed that.
Like if you take your phone and you flash the flash on it, and like super, super bright, and then go into the dark room, yeah, you'll see it for sure. For sure.
See, I'm even learning new things about mine.
Idea. I could start.
Does anybody have questions for Moneca? Any questions? Come on, guys. I mean, we can keep just talking, but I'd love for you guys to have a chance to ask questions.
I now want to know all about your Sedona trip, though.
Everybody's like, Sedona. I just talked to friend's ear off for 2 hours today, telling them about my trip in Sedona. So expect maybe a 2-hour show in 2 weeks from now. Expect 2 hours.
My sister, she lived in Arizona, and we went to Sedona a few times. It's absolutely magical there. I love Sedona. It's
one of those things where you're like, how do you describe a place? And it's just
chill,
hard to.
Yeah, my fiance proposed on Devil's Bridge.
Ooh, they're romantic.
Go on to the thing, and I was like, when I saw those people, and I was like, that looks like a really narrow pathway. I'm like, you want me to go on there? And he was like, yeah. We'll just like in line. And I'm like looking at the people, right? And I'm like looking at them like go across this bridge, and I'm like, like it looks literally like this.
Yeah.
And so I think I got to the end of the line, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, there's no way. And like I didn't think, like I didn't have an idea that he was proposing actually at all. At that point I had no idea, but I was just like, nope, not doing it. Like, love my life. You know what I mean? Sorry. And then we went off into this like other little cove or something, or like overlooking the canyons. It was beautiful. Right. So scenic, and that's where he proposed. Where we were sitting. It was nice.
Yeah. One of the places we went to, it was basically not even a 5-minute drive outside Sedona, was one of the nights we went out to a place called Lover's Knoll. And of course we get out there and I'm like, okay, so this is why they call it Lover's Knoll, because there's no light pollution. It's out in the middle of freaking nowhere in the desert. And you're like, okay, everybody goes out there in their cars to like sit and make out. and probably do other things too, but that's where we went out and we did it. We did an ET excursion one night. So that was a lot of fun. And then actually with your little Buddha in the background there, we also went out to a Buddhist stupa. So basically it's like where they have shrines and everything for Buddha. And so that was a really cool experience too. It was very definitely, talk about like places holding energy.
Yeah.
That place had a lot of energy. There was some people that I've told, like, have kind of recapped, have posted videos about their experience. And one of them, he just posted it today. He basically was like, my feet were in pain. I didn't want to go because you kind of had to walk up to this place. But as soon as he got there, he had no pain.
And I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you something that you can actually Google. Everyone at home can do this. And this is why it feels. Have you ever noticed that, churches, temples, holy places, like you said, the energy feels different, like something feels different. So it's not just woo-woo. It's actually based on scientific evidence again. If you go to Google Earth,
right,
okay, and you turn on the longitude and latitude view, like, where you can see lines and all that jazz, and you Google your house, you're going to see that your house is positioned either, like, most of the time, like diagonally from the longitude and latitude. Like you have to find out where you're north and south and east and west, right? And this is like, I'm talking feng shui, and I'm also talking Vastu Shastra, Indian ancient knowledge, right? Now knowing that if your house was positioned according to the longitude and latitude lines, the energy flow would be a lot different. So if you Google the pyramids of Giza, you Google the Taj Mahal, and you Google the Inca pyramids, like
the Mayan ones,
if you Google all these ancient sites, you will see they are exactly aligned to the longitude.
To let the energy flow.
I wouldn't be surprised if that temple was aligned, or
that area, that space, because
it also has to do with like biogeometry too. There's a Dr. Ibrahim Karim. He's an Egyptian bioengineer, and he's what's called biogeometry. So he studies like the ley lines, and then he studies also the angles. I explain it like a 4-year-old in kindergarten. But if you go to his website, it's Dr. Ibrahim Karim, biogeometry. He's done a lot of studies in Switzerland where they actually implemented some of his work in places, and they found like the cattle got healthier, or there was different changes in the livestock. Like the livestock got healthier, the plants, crops grew bigger, things like that, right? So it just had to do with the ley lines and the energy, the way that the magnetic earth and all that jazz.
So Maruda here has popped in. Hi, Maruda. I know, like here in Ottawa, for example, my teacher talks about like the fact that Ottawa has a special kind of energy because I think there's an intersection of like 2 or 3 different ley lines, all within kind of the city boundaries. So it'd be interesting to like actually like pull that up on a map and see where they intersect, and then like go there or see what's maybe built there.
Totally. Like, for example, you should never have your head towards the north. Like your head should never
like on your bed when you're sleeping.
Yeah. Take your compass and you find out where you're at, and your feet, your head should not be on the north side.
Interesting.
Yeah, it should be on the south, I believe. Yeah. So anyway, I was on some like webinar with this yogi that was studying. She does the Vastu Shastras, the Indian placement of energy and all this jazz, and she was going through the ley lines and the different like positions. That like anyone will tell you, if you have your feet facing the door, bad, never. Like if anyone here has your bed with your feet facing the door, move it today. Move it, like, don't even wait, just move it.
Interesting.
Like, sleep on the ceiling. It doesn't matter. Just move your don't care where you sleep. Do you know why? Because it's easier to wheel out a dead body that way, is it not?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Move your bed.
As you say, it's the feng shui.
Move your bed.
Yeah.
Like, here, call me crazy. Move your bed. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in that because I've seen it like in my life. Like, my mother actually built an entire house based on feng shui. So she called it feng shui. She measured the entire property. She da. He measured everything. Okay. And then they poured the concrete, the foundation of the concrete, and they messed up by 1 degree. So because of that compensation, because it had to align a certain way, and because it didn't, 6 months later, after moving into a brand new house that my parents had just built, they divorced.
Oh gosh.
They split up. And it wasn't like, yeah. And it was just odd because like my mom would like have to place this, have to place that, try to like change the house. And there was off with that, with the energy there. Like ever since I was living there, I just knew I'm like, oh, I'm going to be here for a long time. And then September 11th happened in that house when it was during September 11th. And it was like,
all the stuff's happening. Yeah.
So we moved. I mean, they divorced and I went to university, but like, I kind of follow that because it's something like feel you're not at ease.
Right.
If that makes sense, right?
Well, and speaking of like sacred geometry, like have you used that with your jewelry with the fairy orbs? Have you incorporated sacred geometry and stuff like that at all in them?
Just made one with sacred geometry.
Ooh.
Just yesterday. I have to.
It's like I'm intuitive or something.
It was actually for a friend of mine that
awesome.
She's got she runs Quantum Disclosure Project.
Oh, cool.
So if you Disclosure Project, she's a channel actually, and she's got some amazing stuff on YouTube. She's been interviewed by like a bunch of like, I read her article here. Her name is Melanie Aguirre, and she's from New Mexico.
Okay.
She did a channeling for me actually.
Ooh,
we had
that's cool.
And yeah, like I don't know how she knew some of the stuff. Like, and it wasn't her, obviously.
Right.
This was kind of weird. But some details, like she had no, like, for example, she said something about like Irish lineage, something. And turns out my specialist is Irish. Yeah. Like,
oh, there you go. Irish
maybe karmic background. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there were some, I don't know. She's very intuitive. I kind of follow that stuff. So I don't know. I've never channeled myself, but like I so incredibly want to.
Well, I think we discovered tonight that you channel when you're making your jewelry because
nobody can film me because I'm just like, yeah, it's quite insane. Like sometimes when I just make them, the synchronicities just follow. It's.
Well, and I think I remember from like when you're making mine, like you like to like collect little things like as you go throughout your day, or like if you see something, you'll like collect it and like, because you're like, it's meant for somebody at some point. Like you have little drawers of just a little like sparkles and crystals and like little charms and like
just you can see here. I'll show you. I'll be hobble over here. It's not that clean, guys, so don't judge.
Hey, no judgment here. This is a judgment-free channel.
One drawer is missing, so super organized, right?
Yeah.
Like,
look at all those little drawers of fun little things.
All these little things, and just I'm like a squirrel.
Little stash of nuts.
And I sit on it like a hen.
Yeah.
I sit on it. I said to Melanie yesterday, I said, I made it, but I'm sitting on it like a hen, and I don't like it. I'm remaking it today. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
many people are just like, oh, it's done. Okay, next. Like, you'll remake until you're happy.
But you know why though? Because I understand the karmic.
Right.
I don't know, man. I understand the karma. Like if I don't put the heart into it, like it just comes back.
As you said, it feels dead.
it feels done. It comes back to me, and I can't
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, like you can just make like 50 of these. I was like, yeah, sure, I can make 50 of these. Sure, let me make you 50. I'll make you 50, and then the money that you pay me with that, for example, well, I don't know, then my car will break down, and you know what I'm saying? Like, then it's like, no, thanks. I'm good with, I'm good with clean, loving intention. Thank you very much. So I truly open the orders. When I open the orders, I open them for a short period of time, and then I close them, because I mean, I'm gonna do it.
You have to do it that way, as you said. You got to do it that way, in order for yourself, and as Viviani was saying, that's a form of self-care.
Yeah, and people can plan that, right? They can plan. They know that they can only put an order 2 times a year.
Hey,
I'd rather, because then I can take.
They're that special, though. Honestly, they're that special.
Thank you. I love them. They're hard to let go sometimes.
They're like your babies, right?
I'm like, oh yes, I remember that one has Alexandrite in it. For example, like I would just like go into the different and this one has 333 in it, like my lucky,
the angel numbers. I love the angel number ones you do. Yeah.
So that's 3. I think you can see it there, 333.
Yeah, and so like, for example, like the one with the picture you're talking about, like doing memorial jewelry, so you can actually like print different like little sayings or different pictures and stuff.
Like dates, names.
Yeah.
I did star coordinates for someone.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he passed away, and I think they purchased a star in his name, and so the coordinates, like it was like 11 something something something, and so I printed off the coordinates next to his picture.
Oh, that's cool. Love that.
And sometimes it's people they ask me, do you work with ashes? And it's like, yes, I do work with ashes. However, there's no pressure, and that's the thing. You don't need someone's ashes in a fairy orb for it to help heal your soul, I guess. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. And for me, like, even if it's a placebo effect, even if it makes you feel better, it really does. And that's, I don't know, I can't put a price on that. So like for me, that's probably why they're so hard to let go. It's like each and every single one of them, I'm like, this one healed me this way. But I think it's time. I think it's time to like let them go and pass on that to other people. So yeah.
And they're fairly child safe too, right? Like to use resin and stuff like that, right? Like, I mean, you can't whip them around necessarily, but like,
but I've made some that are like, you can. I had to make some that were, I called them Moneca proof, because like sometimes I'm a little bit. I'll drop it, and I was like, ah. So it truly depends. Like if I'm making it for, I have a neighbor, she's 13, so she's young, right? So I know that she's like rough, and she doesn't like, I don't want to make it like super dainty for her, and I coat it 2 or 3 times, which is like the norm. I usually coat them 2 or 3 times in resin to harden up. The glass is inside, that's never going to go away, and then the resin goes on top just to give it an extra layer, that if it if you were to, right? But for kids, or for for little ones, I would either take like a smaller one, and I would coat it enough times that it would look like this,
right?
and then I'd be like, yeah, well, but regardless, I want everyone to be happy, right? So there have been times where kids have dropped it.
Yeah,
I'm happy to, because the thing is, I believe it happens for a reason.
Right.
Like, don't cry because it happened. I used to be so attached to that, right? Like if one of these broke in the very beginning, okay, I'd take 6 months off, like
grieving process. Yeah.
This is crap. You know what I mean? Like it would be like really detrimental to me. So that's why, I mean, it took me some years to like figure out how to make them like durable, figure out how to make them durable, beautiful, affordable, right? Like so that a lot of people can have them. And and it was.
So was it a lot of trial and error? Like, was there a lot of trial and error and like patience involved, and probably a lot of swear words?
Let's just say that I invested in some good earplugs for my family while I figured things no, I mean it was part of it was definitely the breakage issue.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing, because inside it's non-toxic. It's a soy-based liquid. It's glycerin. It's not a secret, you know.
Yeah.
I have water in them before. I have. And truly it's snow globes, like how snow globes are made.
Yes.
It's with water, and you put a little bit of glycerin, and the glycerin prevents it from evaporating. That's all it does. Right. Yeah. So I just want to put all glycerin in there because it's super clear. It magnifies everything. It makes it bigger. And yeah, and I feel like it gives it a good, it gives it a cute effect.
It does. It really, really does. And what's great, guys, too, is like if you get a fairy orb, she sends along a little like how-to care kind of package along with it. So it'll be like, you know, like if it's not moving really well, you know, kind of, you know, warm it up a little bit. It'll help everything get moving. There's a breakdown of like every single thing she's put in it and like the meanings behind it. Like I kept all of it. I have it upstairs. But I've kept everything because really the time you put into it, you feel it. I mean, I don't know if you guys can probably feel it through the screen. As my mom said, you know, she was saying, you know, I just love hearing both of you talk. You both have so, you know, full of positive energy. You really do get that in the jewelry. You feel every bit of it, you know, is Moneca.
Oh, thank you. I love them so much, and I love to make people happy. So that is my fairy orb.
Well, and for us in Canada, you know, supporting Canadian. For those that aren't, supporting Canadian anyway, because you're you're in Alberta, right?
Yeah.
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 So we've still had no questions come in, so we still got a little bit of time. We can keep chatting.
Yakking. That's all I've been. I'm just coffee and water. Sorry, I was out and about when
So yeah, we'll take 2 seconds here and sip.
Tim Hortons it today.
But I think I might have to try and see if this thing will work as a pendulum sometime. It'd be interesting to see.
Try. Yeah, try it. If you hook on if you take the end of your necklace, like the end of it, and then just hook it onto, there you go.
Like it's
or like that, or just hook it on. I would do one string.
I see what you mean. Yeah, hang it off the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to try it and then let you know how it goes.
Yeah. I have a friend, and she does or has used it as a pendulum. And she keeps it in her healing room.
Because I think one of the big things about it is that because I've worn it, it's now infused with like my energy versus like we don't wear our pendulums. You know, as readers, we don't wear our pendulums. They're just a tool. So the only way to infuse it with our energy is to actually like use it. But wearing it
but maybe it can be yours, right? Like maybe it can be your pendulum that you use for yourself that is like an extension. Well,
yeah.
That is
interesting thoughts.
So I had this other idea, but I just don't quite know how to execute it. Is to make one of these into magic 8-ball.
Ooh, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so like every time you turn it, it would say like yes or no. But like I haven't thought of
how do you do that?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Not sure yet. But
yeah, because I don't know whether you'd have like a bigger one of these and then the yes and the no in the smaller ones, and they would be the ones that would like float around inside the bigger one.
Yeah, I have an idea.
Yes and no. Wow.
Yeah, those are tough. You'd have to get like a tiny dice.
Well, I mean, you have like that size ball, and then you could do your yes and no in size that, and this size. You probably get 2 of them to fit in there. I don't know.
If I can get them in there, yeah.
I know the hole's only so big too at the top of the fairy orb, because what happens is basically the top of this is kind of open. You put the stuff in, and then you seal it with the resin. So you guys can kind of see the top there.
Yeah. Exactly.
And what's really nice too is like you use stickers and stuff too. So like when we talked about like Reiki and movement of energy. So you have the little spiral there. at the bottom as well. And we talked about my favorite colors, so that's why there's like sapphire and stuff in there, because like teal and blue. There you go. Yeah.
So my hands are.
You gotta like sparkles, guys. Though for Fairy Orbs, you have to love the sparkles.
I think I've made. I don't have any to show here, but I think I did make a few without sparkles. Yeah, it was recently actually. For someone's uncle.
Okay.
It was just the picture. Just the picture.
Oh, okay.
Like a memory of a person, and then no glitter. Just I think I put tiger's eye in there. Like just
nice.
Gemstones. Like masculine energy grounding, right. Like tiger's eyes, blue goldstone, natural sandstone. I like to throw that one in because it sparkles, but it could still be manly.
Manly sparkles.
So love
it
for sure.
Well, I know as you've talked about, like you're gonna kind of be redoing the website. So your website is fairyorbs.ca, so if people want to check it out, but you are gonna, as you said, be kind of redoing it. If people want to check it out. Yeah, so guys, you heard it here first.
My baby.
All of those are gonna go up on the website. So if you want a fairy orb of your own, you're gonna have an opportunity. And we aren't talking about like $1,000 jewelry. Like it's very affordable. Yes. Moneca does an amazing job at making it affordable for everybody. So yeah, go check that out. Keep an eye on her website when she uploads those, because she'll let you know. We also have a Facebook page too, right?
Yep, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
all the jazz.
Google me. I may be out of, like I said, on July 8th. My fate is determined as to when my surgery will be.
Right.
And if surgeon says, that's when I'll be making a lot of the updates too on social media. So if you guys would like to follow me on Facebook, please do, because that's where I make all the updates as to when I'm going to be, finally launching this. I'm offering, I think I offered these ones for a limited time locally.
Right. I saw that. Yeah.
Don't have a deal yet for anyone that I'm shipping, but I guess the deal could stand as just shipping on top of that. But
right.
Again, it would be better if I was local and you could just pick them up for that. And then once I know when I'm going in, I will determine a launch date from that day forward.
Yes.
And
let us know too when your surgery is, so we can send you all those healing vibes, because that's just as important.
Like a good day for the surgeon,
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Best.
Yep. If he goes out for breakfast, he gets the the hash browns right out of the fryer. Perfect day.
Lobster. May he have lobster for breakfast.
Do not be allergic to seafood.
I'm gonna send him flowers and a dove pigeon in the morning.
There you go. Yes, exactly. You got it.
Crazy. Send me for psych.
So for those of you that weren't here at the beginning, the next show is, I'm going to say July 6th. It's in 2 weeks, but it's going to be on a Sunday. So all of July, the shows are on Sundays at 2, just because of the way that the holidays are falling this year for, here in Canada, at least. So the next show is about my kind of recap, long story of my retreat, everything that happened. It's probably going to end up being 2 hours, because I was telling a friend today about it and it was 2 hours. So expect 2 hours. And then, you guys can come hang out, ask me questions about the trip. I'll tell you about the trip. I'm going to share some photos that I took while I was there. Let you guys know all about what happened. Possibly even let you know what happened after it, because that was crazy in itself, not even the retreat. And then the show after that is going to be me going through all my decks, so my Oracle and Tarot decks, because I recently inherited close to 24 from a friend. They actually flew back with me from Arizona. I actually ended up checking a bag, but anyway. I'm like, free tarot decks, but now I'm going to pay $50 to check a bag. Anyway. But we're going to go through all those, show you guys what I now have as far as decks. I'm actually I grabbed a little notebook that I'm one of these people that collects notebooks to keep because I'm going to use them at some point. So these are teeny tiny little like notebooks, like plain notebooks, but they are kind of from my current Harry Potter phase. It wasn't ever a phase really, it's still going. But it has like, it's a divination like textbook kind of cover. So as I go through each deck and I show it to you guys, I'm also going to kind of make myself like a list of the decks so I can have like a reference guide as to like, instead of trying to remember what I have where, I can just look in the book and be like, oh, right, I have that deck and go and find it. Anyway, so that's the plan for that. I also just planned the shows for August. So we're going to be doing a show on light language. Right now, I have Gerald coming as a guest. We may have another guest, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So at least we have Gerald confirmed. So if you guys follow Tarot Stash and love him, he's going to be on as a guest with me. And then I am also doing a show. Come on, brain. We're going through memory here. Let's go. Oh, and then we're going to, right? This is like, where's my brain at? It's almost 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to be doing a second show on the True Sight Oracle. So this is a black and white deck based on Dungeons and Dragons. So if you remember from the last show, I was going through and starting to color the deck because it's a black and white deck. I was starting to color it in with permanent markers. So we'll do a couple more cards out of the deck. And we can just sit and chat kind of like we did tonight. And just, talk about anything and everything that's going on with everybody. And with that, I hope everybody has a great week, rest of their week, a great night, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody. Bye.